An estimated 1 in 6 people in Britain live in social housing. And in the current economic climate, the waiting lists are growing every week.
For every person you make happy, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 times as many who are disappointed.
Britain's housing officers are on the front line.
Jeanette, can you let me in?
It's just like nothing like you've ever smelled before.
They deal with over 11 million tenants day in, day out.
I don't believe you let him out.
Most are good tenants, but a few risk everything with their antisocial behaviour.
His tenancy is on a knife edge.
If they want to try taking it, they'll have to take it with me on it.
Eviction is the last thing that we want to do, and we've got to do it for the sake of the community.
Every week, there's a different set of problems.
To behave like that in the middle of the night is absolutely atrocious.
My kids have grown up with it. Dad's now that.
The issue with crack dens and obviously the damage that comes with it, taking boilers, radiators.
But it's very rare that you get a property with this many needles.
If I seem desperate, it's because I am desperate at the moment and need to get a new life.
Can't really envisage it being the answer to somebody's prayers at the minute.
There are currently around 5 million people on waiting lists for social housing in the UK. And with homes in seriously short supply, there is often little choice about where you live and who you live next to. On an estate east of Manchester, it's 2 AM, and a young tenant and her partner are disturbing their neighbours.
What do you think you're going to cook? But you'll wait till the door's shut.
Kerry and Greg and their 3 children have lived next door for 5 years.
Oh yeah, alright, yeah,
Another night with no sleep and...
On and off since. It's been continuous now for the past half an hour. Swearing. I'm stood here because if I go to bed I won't be able to sleep anyway because they're still kicking off and she's in the garden now and I just need to know that they've both calmed down and gone to bed because otherwise if something happens to either of them I'll feel guilty.
Kerry and Greg are shift workers and the disturbances have become part of their family life.
So they'll probably do it again now tomorrow as well, so it'll be like about 3 days when nobody sleep. We've still got to do as normal stuff, you know. Like the kids have still got to go to school, still got to be fed, you still got to do every normal day-to-day thing, but just with no sleep.
Shall I cut you some pink for inside his ears?
The family have lived with the problem ever since their neighbour moved in 4 years ago.
You can do whichever colour.
Whatever colour you want, it can be a multicoloured giraffe. Green or blue?
Red.
My kids have grown up with it. They've had sleepless nights. My 10-year-old wrote a diary last year about it and wrote rude words in it, swear words in it, and everything they were saying at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I don't think there's anything worse than having something that's completely beyond your control, but it's affecting your life day in, day out.
When the Housing Association have issued warnings, things have improved. But the late-night disturbances always start up again. Today, Kerry and Greg are meeting their housing officers, Penny Moss and Anne Jackson.
So you've had some contact with her in the past about the antisocial behaviour? Have you knocked on and approached her?
Yeah, at the beginning we did.
Yeah, they just asked her to turn the music down and she'd say, all right, sorry, and turn it down. But then when she's out of her face at 2 o'clock in the morning, she doesn't care then.
No. We just want to take down what's happened recently and how we can move forward.
Yeah. The 8th, Tuesday the 8th, that was 4 PM in the afternoon, the music went on full blast and they didn't stop till 7 AM the following morning. The police were called out 4 times that night. I called them twice. The week before that, they had the chainsaw out, which I phoned the police about then.
You're talking a big proper petrol chainsaw, you're not talking about a little, you know, something like a garden trimmer or something.
Me and Anne will give you our direct numbers and I'll give you my email address. Anything you want to do, just contact us directly.
Well, we appreciate it, we just want to get it sorted.
Thank you. I'll give you
Right, brilliant.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Yeah.
The tenant shouldn't be causing this trouble on the estate. She's had cautions. The neighbours shouldn't have to live like that, and something's going to be done about it.
When people do come in, you can see that they do need some support or help. Your heart does go out to them. You want to do as much as you can to put them in the right place or to give them the support that they clearly need. So when you can't offer them that support, you do feel terrible about it. You know, it does weigh on you. You feel like, is there nothing else? Is there no other way around it?
In Ellam, west of Manchester, one family desperately need help to find a new home.
Sorry, babe. All right. Watch your eyes.
For 7 years, Joanne's partner Scott has been sleeping in the lounge of their housing association home. A degenerative back condition means he can't use the stairs.
Doesn't matter how quiet I am. We always think, well, has he had a good night? Has he been up all night?
Time you finally get to sleep?
I've had about a couple of hours at most, probably.
What lessons you got today?
That's my homework.
You can't find your home.
The lounge, which is also Scott's bedroom, is used by the whole family.
Sorry, babe. I was too busy. Hold one sec.
You used to have lovely legs, didn't you?
Yep. Gorgeous legs. I was 28 when I met Scott. We actually didn't like each other. We hated each other.
We're complete opposites.
And then one day, he walked into my back garden, smiled at me, and I thought, I want to spend the rest of my life with him. So things just completely changed.
13 years later, life has become very strained, and their home is far from suitable. Scott's makeshift bathroom is a commode under the stairs.
When we first found out, you used to say to me, why are you still with me? And you used to feel you weren't good enough. But what you forget is I don't see you with a wheelchair. I still see the same person I met 13 years ago.
The couple have tried to manage, but now have finally asked for help from their housing association.
I should have actually told them years ago that I needed help, but for certain reasons I didn't.
It's more embarrassment. You thought they'd laugh at you.
I'm just embarrassed. I mean, I've still not been out in this wheelchair yet. It's just a bit embarrassed, that's all. Do you know what I mean?
A quarter of the tenants in Scott and Joanne's area have a disability. The housing officer looking after them all is 25-year-old Jen Bradley.
Ideally, we need a property that's got, like, what's classically known as a parlour-style property, or one with a separate dining room to living room and kitchen, so that we could convert it into a bedroom.
Although Scott's medical needs make their case a priority, suitable properties hardly ever come up.
I think everyone in the office is fed up of me saying, is that a parlour style as they come in?
Oh, it's me on the phone saying, have you found me one yet?
But have you considered mutual exchanges?
We'd consider out at the moment.
Anything?
Yeah.
We're willing to look at anything at the moment.
They're a really nice family. They're the type of people that make the job worthwhile, because you do just want to help them. It's hard because they want time frames. They want to know that at Christmas they'll be living somewhere that's suitable, and we can't say to them that they will.
To the east of Manchester, Kerry and her family have had another bad night.
It was pretty quiet when I got home, and then when I was watching Oldby City, you could hear them rowing over Oldby City and then straight through Big Brother. I went to bed at 11 o'clock, and just continuously from 11 o'clock, so I phoned the police at 4 o'clock this morning. And the kids were awake as well, so the kids are tired. It was ridiculous.
What I'm conscious about is the fact that she's had 2 cautions that we know of, which is...
This morning, Penny is discussing the case with Alan Kibble, Head of Tenancy Enforcement.
Looking through the file, when we do any sort of like intervention, whether it be a caution or whatever, there's always an element of quietening down then, and then it starts up again. So obviously the interventions that we're doing don't seem to be working on a long-term basis. It's very difficult to pinpoint why ASB occurs. Drink, drugs, relationship breakdown, domestic violence. We always try to identify what the core is, what's causing the problem. And once we've identified the problem, we will try and deal with that. If that's unsuccessful and they fail to engage, that's when we have to look at enforcement action. I'll get a couple of phenols and everything sorted out for this.
Yeah, we'll just set this one up for
An important step in enforcement action is gathering covert recordings. These can then be used as evidence in legal action. Today, Ivan Wright from the enforcement team is installing surveillance equipment in Kerry and Greg's kitchen.
If the music is playing pretty loud, you hear it.
Like I say, it's not the music.
Yeah, well, them screaming and shit.
I can sleep through the music, I'm not bothered. I know that my kids aren't going to hear things, but last night the things that she was shouting and saying to him, my last recording's about 4 o'clock in the morning. Just listen to that.
That's in your bedroom?
That's in my bedroom, and there's a landing and a bathroom between my bedroom and their house.
Kerry and Greg aren't the only ones affected. Other residents have also complained. Angela's house looks directly out onto the noisy tenant's backyard.
You try to ignore it for a while, but then they just get louder and louder, and it's hard to ignore. Some of the things when they're shouting it, you just want to get your kids and shut the back door because the language that they're coming out with, so it's not fair. You know, they make more noise than all the kids on the street, I think.
I think it's that chaotic a household that you can't really predict what could happen and what I'm likely to see.
The Housing Association have tried to arrange several meetings with the disruptive tenant.
Supposed to come in at 2:30.
This afternoon, she's failed to turn up yet again.
You weren't convinced she'd come, were you, to be honest?
No.
You weren't convinced she'd come, were you, today?
They try her home instead.
Turn this down.
Who said that it had been taken apart or something?
You got a calling card?
No. What we'll do now is we'll try and speak to her again, make another appointment, and even in the meantime, it's still a case of gathering evidence.
Housing associations are non-profit organisations, and rent collections fund the £1 billion they spend on major repairs every year. There's rarely enough money to go round, and one of the biggest frustrations is cash spent fixing properties which have been deliberately damaged. In Greater Manchester, housing manager Sean Ellam has been called to an emergency in one of the 6,000 properties he oversees. The flat has reportedly been left in a terrible state by drug users.
Obviously the issue with crack dens such as this and the damage that comes with it, quite easily people will infiltrate the property, they'll be in there straight away, taking boilers, radiators, whatever they can get their hands on basically, possibly sold, and obviously they can fund some drug use.
He's meeting police at the flat.
All the troops are arriving now.
Uncertain of whether the tenant or anyone else will be in the property.
On Friday we did a lock change, so we believe that the property was secure. One of the neighbours has been on today saying that people are still going in and out. You want to get in there, right? You got the keys? Just more concerned for the welfare of the tenant as much as anything else. Obviously, he's not answering any of his own personal contact numbers. I don't know, there's no one in though. Right.
The property must be secured, but before workmen can begin, they need to clear some of the needles.
More needles. It's very rare that you get a property with this many needles, and the issues are obviously that bad.
The damage inside is extensive, and anything of value has been stripped out. The boiler's gone, the pipes and wiring have been ripped from the walls, and they have even taken the kitchen sink.
Disgusting in there. Been using the bucket for a toilet.
The tenant hasn't paid his rent for 4 months, and Sean doesn't know whether he is safe or if he has let anyone else use the flat.
Generally looking about, there is post, and it is addressed to the tenant, so from that point of view there's nothing else to suggest that anybody else is here. next steps, make sure we make contact with him. Obviously, we don't know if this tenant is going to talk to us yet or if he's going to cooperate.
It's 6 months since Joanne and Scott registered to move, and they are still waiting for a larger home.
If we don't get a bigger house, I could get a smaller family. So if get rid of you, and get rid of her, and get rid of... Ah, my toe! Give some bits to your rabbits. Hold on. Stop. You've done it. Oh, you got the door frame at the side.
Joanne is doing everything she can to help find a new home.
A friend of mine says one of these is empty.
She's keeping an eye on any properties nearby that become vacant.
No, it's only 1 bedroom. Nice try. I've done a couple of cards and hopefully I might get a phone call. Hey, you okay? I've got an advertisement. Could you put it in the window for me, please? 50 pence a week, lovely. Well, I'm now looking for mutual exchanges. I was wondering, could you put this in the window for me? Which is 2 City West occupants looking at exchanging with one another. Oh yeah, got a card. Am I all right just to put it straight on board? OK, thank you.
On the nearby Crossfield estate, there are a number of suitable parlour-style properties. And it's where Joanne and Scott lived when they first met.
Just here on the left is where Scott used to live, top floor on the left-hand side. So there's a lot of memories on this estate. If one of these properties was to become empty, it would be ideal for all the needs of our family. I might be giving myself false hopes, and that's what I don't want to do, because at the moment there's no empty properties. So I feel a bit sad, but happy. Maybe one day I could be in one of these houses and my life start again.
In Ashton-under-Lyne, Sean is searching for the tenant from the damaged flat.
I've gone through some of the tenant's details on our systems and obviously he's given his mother's address and contact on previous forms, so that's where we've got the details from. So I'm just going to ring her, obviously, to make her aware that there are issues at the property. Hi, my name's Sean Ellam. I'm ringing from New Charter. In respect of your son, have you got any contact details? Because obviously, I don't know if you've been back to the property, but we've had to secure the property. Am I right in thinking that your son's got no intention to return to that flat? He hasn't. Obviously, I wouldn't mind coming to see you. I'm just looking at my calendar now. 3 o'clock's fine. Yeah, no problem. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, bye.
The tenant's mum, Jean, lives across town from her son's flat. For the last 6 years, she has seen her son Kane battle with heroin addiction.
When he's off the smack, he's a completely different lad. You could trust him with your life, but not anymore when he's on smack. Well, I'll either get a phone call that he's stuck in the gutter somewhere, or he's gone to jail for stealing. You just feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. Yeah, that's Kane when he was a baby, a little one when he first started school. He's a beautiful singer. He's got a lovely voice. I've had that trained. That was supposed to be why I was carrying on at college. You know, to be an actor or a singer or whatever he wanted to be. But he didn't turn out like that.
The damage to Kane's flat is likely to cost thousands of pounds, and Sean needs to find out who's responsible. He's arranged to meet Kane's mum, and he's hoping she'll be able to help.
There's a few instances where you come across these crack dens and sort of people coming and going at all hours, Obviously, in this case, we're not 100% sure how long it's been going on, so we need to get to the bottom of it.
There's a surprise at Jean's flat. Kane is there.
He's done his hair now. He weren't on the toilet, he was in there.
How long have the problems been going on?
3 or 4 weeks after I'd moved in. Once people found out that I'd got my own place to stay, you know, they were coming round all the time, and, you know, it became quite intense really fast.
Right. What type of drugs were being used at the property? Was it heroin?
Heroin, yeah. I was addicted to heroin myself personally.
Were these people that you knew, or...?
They were associates, people I knew of, you know. I wouldn't ever class them as friends or anything like that.
Is there any reason why you didn't sort of get in touch with New Charter earlier?
I don't know. I needed to get out, but I couldn't see the wood for the trees, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Everything was just so intense.
But you'd left Mark in there, hadn't you? So that his flat would be okay. He left his so-called friend in there.
But ultimately, you know, as the tenant, it was your responsibility to take control of, you know, of your situation and those people.
I think when you're on drugs, you don't have a responsibility, do you? You know, well, and somebody's pressurising you as well. You don't realise what they're doing.
It's really difficult not to be a bit sceptical, really. You know, or you feel that you're being told half a story. To suggest that Kane had no prior knowledge that this was happening, I think is a bit of a long shot, to be honest.
You can hear shouting there, can't you?
Yeah.
The live target address is on.
To the east of Manchester, the problems with the disruptive tenant haven't improved. A week after Ivan installed CCTV, he's reviewing the recordings with Alan.
That's her, that's her coming out, isn't it? From midnight, we've got the tenants that are responsible are in and out of the house, they're shouting at each other, they're bringing out the dog. To behave like that in the middle of the night is absolutely atrocious, and it's all been captured on film now.
With clear video evidence, Alan must discuss the case with Housing Association lawyer Paul Wilson.
96 incidents on the concrete schedule of incidents from the moment they moved in. Yeah. And since May this year, 24. Right. So in the last month we've got 24 incidents.
So it's ramped up over the last month.
We've had interaction with the family and intervention in the past. Right. She fails to engage.
Okay.
What do you think, initial?
In view of the fact that she's not had any other formal intervention other than cautions and warnings, then realistically you should be looking at injunctive relief at first port of call.
Right, okay.
Against both of them. Doesn't matter that he's not a tenant, we can take action against him as an occupier of the property.
Fine. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
The Housing Association will now apply to the courts for an injunction against the noisy tenant.
The best tool that we have to combat antisocial behaviour is the antisocial behaviour injunction. It's a fantastic success rate, and it's a much better tool to use than rather go down the eviction route where you're putting somebody out of a home where potentially you might be moving the problem on. So we would always look at an injunction first of all. An injunction doesn't ask anybody to do something that they wouldn't normally do if they were being a normal, respectable member of the community. And if you don't want to be that, then you suffer the consequences.
This is the start of a process that could take months, and Kerry and Greg have decided they want to move.
We don't want to be in this type of environment.
We don't feel like this is our home, this is a house we live in. We can't make it our home because of what's going on. So from initially getting this house and thinking we could do loads of fabulous things with it and being very excited, we're no longer happy.
Although it's not standard procedure, Alan has agreed to ask the lettings team if they can find a new home for Kerry and Greg because of the extreme nature of their situation.
There's been a lot of intervention work and a lot of activity going on, but This lady's had to put up with it for such a long time. You know, it goes against the grain a little bit to move the victim because we don't like to do that, but I really think that in this case she probably does deserve consideration of it.
Whatever we come out with, I'll let you know. I'll give you the outcome of that.
Okay.
I just don't know when the property's
No, I understand that. I understand that. The main reason a managed move into another area is the right thing to do in this case is because of the prolonged period of time that this particular witness has had to put up with this upsetting behaviour. Now, we are going to resolve it. That's not an issue. It's not that we're not moving her because we're not going to resolve it, but she's very keen to move. I think she's just had enough.
Every year, government provides around £300 million for disabled adaptations, but it's believed that's only a tenth of what's needed.
I put everything in this suitcase, all our pictures and memorabilia.
In Earlham, Joanne and Scott are still waiting for news about a move to a more suitable home.
That was a collage we started, wasn't it? Never finished it.
There's you, when I first met you, on that...
Well, didn't it look healthy then? Look at how...
I know, they all need sorting out.
If you counted it, there must be over 1,000 pictures there, isn't there? Brilliant, that.
There's you when you was younger.
Yeah, that was when I was really healthy.
Hey, do you remember that? Well, you made me that when we had no money one year.
Must have been drunk when I made that.
And as soon as she was born. Dead proud dad.
Still am.
On the Crossfield estate, where Joanne and Scott once lived, there is a tenant Jen has been trying to work with for the last 4 months. He's in a home that's much too big for him.
We've been trying to gain access to this property for the longest time I think that I've ever tried to access a property. But hopefully today this will be the end of a long battle to gain access.
We'll just try, just in case.
Try around the back.
The 3-bedroomed parlour-style house is occupied by a single elderly man who they suspect can't cope.
You didn't really come dressed for it, Joe.
He's agreed to let Jen and support worker Joanne Gallagher inside, but doesn't want to be in when they visit.
Can you actually get in?
The current tenant needs to be moved somewhere easier to manage. This house could then become a home for a family.
Are you going to come in, Jen? Are you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm coming in. I don't know how I'm going to get in. There's a lot of...
Sour milk.
That bath's not been used for a long time.
The house has the potential to be what Joanne and Scott need, if it's possible to adapt it.
Just need to gauge how big that toilet is.
But there's a complication.
Need a downstairs bedroom for Scott.
Oh, gosh.
You see where the stud walls come out?
Yeah.
So unless we can get asset management to put the stud wall back,
yeah,
then it's not suitable. Which is a shame, because other than that, it's got the downstairs toilet.
Jen will have to get approval for the extensive funds needed to renovate and adapt the property for Scott and Joanne. But if it's turned down, this could still make a good new home for another family from the waiting list. In Ashton-under-Lyne, one housing association has 8,000 households waiting for a home. Any abandoned properties they have need to be cleared and relet as soon as possible. This morning, Kane's old flat is being emptied. It needs substantial repairs that will take weeks and cost thousands of pounds before a new tenant can be moved in.
Just going through the recharges there at the property, you know, some of the damage that's caused when they're ripping wire out of the walls and stuff. Taking a kitchen sink, not sure how much you're going to get for that. To even think of taking a door knocker off a front door if they're going to go and weigh something in. Pretty shocking, really, when you look at the extent of the damage that's been caused, and to suggest that that can happen in such a short period of time without Kane knowing is... well, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I find it quite hard to believe, really.
Recently, Kane's been staying on sofas with his mum and other friends.
Obviously, I know it was my flat, but I know that
I haven't caused that damage. Do you understand what I mean? It wasn't me that did that, do you know, because I wasn't there. Sometimes in life things happen out of our control, do you know, and we can't do anything about it, we can't change it. What's done's done.
The housing association need to make a final decision about who will pay for the damage. So today, Sean is discussing the case with other managers.
We can only go off the information that we've been given. His story is that he didn't think that anybody had access to the property.
It's too much to wager on. A person who was using drugs at the time, you know...
This has happened over a period of time. It's not happened overnight, has it?
He's made no attempt to notify us, and now we're taking his word on the fact that he was driven out of his property. He might have just decided to walk out.
Well, he might. That's why he's still responsible.
Yeah, but I think at that point, we then need... Is he responsible for everything? And I think he should be responsible for that as well.
Well, so do I. He is responsible as the tenant for the damage that was caused.
While Kerry and Greg wait to be rehoused, there's no sign of a let-up from next door.
Last night, about 1:30, I was woke up by her absolutely screaming her head off. It was awful. That's not that.
It's not like you're hanging out the window or something. That's what we can hear in our, you know, bathroom, bedrooms. That's nothing as well. You know what I mean? She's been quite civil, to be honest.
That's her smashing something against the wall.
I've got nothing against these people because they've never physically done anything, you know, to me, except this. You know, and obviously what the kids have got to put up with and listen to. But she's got problems from somewhere. You know, she's certainly got no inhibitions, has she?
The mounting evidence against the disruptive tenant has now led to an injunction being granted against her, and Alan and Ivan need to serve it.
She's apparently in the property, but whether she'll answer the door is another kettle of fish. Oh, yeah.
What? Go yesterday?
Yeah.
You missed it, didn't you? Like,
yeah.
The tenant does not want to be filmed. The injunction outlines conditions of behaviour to adhere to. If they don't comply, it could lead to eviction or even a prison sentence.
So we've explained each part of the injunction to her, so she understands completely what she can't do. It's basically any kind of activity that is likely or cause harassment, alarm or distress to the neighbours. From now on, if anything happens, then it'll be treated as a contempt of court.
Less than a fortnight later, there is CCTV evidence of further disturbances.
And he's got his dog off the lead, and they're shouting at him.
They just come back and kick him.
Just comes in and ladders the door a few times till it goes through.
In one incident, the police were called after a visitor woke up the street by kicking the back door in.
The breaches are very, very well evidenced, and the breaches are totally unacceptable.
Alan's only option now is stronger legal action. In Earlham, the tenant of the parlour-style property on the Crossfield estate has been successfully rehoused.
The clear-out team are coming today to start to empty the property out of all the rubbish. Massive job.
Only once the rubbish is cleared can a decision be made on whether the adaptations are possible.
Once it's empty and I can get the surveyor in to look at what is actually needed, I'm hoping at that point he'll agree that the rooms are big enough. The work can be done between asset management and aids and adaptations to make it suitable. really envisage it being the answer to somebody's prayers at the minute, but if it's possible, it'll be a nice home for them, for Joanne and Scott.
Finally, with the property cleared, the surveyors are able to inspect it and make a decision about its suitability.
That's asbestos in there, so we'll have to get that sorted out. So the electrics need upgrading as well.
Hopefully, if it's big enough, this room will be a walk-in shower, level access shower.
We'll sort something. Yeah. And what we'll do is make a wider door for the wheelchair, yeah?
That can quite simply go back up with a wider doorway.
Yeah.
Where would you put the opening?
There.
Right.
Yeah? So you can get the bed down that side.
Thank you.
All right.
You're my favourite surveyor. It's possible.
3 days before Christmas, and Jen has made an appointment to see Joanne and Scott.
Oh, I think it'll mean the world to them today. That's their light at the end of the tunnel. I can't wait. I've got some good news for you. You've got a new property.
Oh, thank you.
It couldn't be any more perfect for you.
God, you can perform miracles. And how have you done this?
It's been ongoing in the background for a long time.
Don't know what else to say now. Speechless.
Have a nice Christmas and I will see you next year now.
See you in the new year, Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's not often that you can do it. This has just happened because two things have fell into line, which have really worked out well. So it doesn't happen often, but it is good when it does happen.
Can I give you an hug and say thank you?
Cheers, thanks for everything. See you next year.
All right.
See you later, Scott.
See you, Jen. Thank you very much.
3 months after he abandoned his flat, Kane still has no permanent place to live.
It affects you in so many different ways, not having a place to settle, you know, and actually somewhere to call home, basically.
Kane's mum wants to give him a second chance and is hoping that they can get a 2-bedroom flat together.
We can't go private because I've used all my money up buying drugs for Kane. I haven't said that before. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, a mother doesn't do that. But when you see your son suffering like I've seen my son suffer, you'd do anything. Absolutely anything. I'd rather buy his drugs than him going stealing off anybody, knocking old ladies about and things like that.
It's as pink as the rest of her.
This morning, mother and son have come to the Housing Association to ask for a home together. But lettings coordinator Tina McBride wants to talk to Kane about the damage to his old flat.
Is it Kane? Hiya, do you want to come this way? Right, you are aware that the issues at tenancy, you are responsible for that. You signed the tenancy agreement. We do still have concerns about the conduct, and you never approached New Charter to let them know you had any issues.
Yeah, we did. That was before.
I did. I wrote him a letter, and I wrote to the councillor of Ashton,
Right.
and he's wrote back to me.
I've spoken to Sean, he's gone through all the records. We haven't got anything that's been sent through to ourselves.
Right.
I've been in touch with Revenues. That's a copy of the letter they wanted me to give to you. It outlines the actual how much is owed to us.
Right.
And it does come to a substantial amount at the moment. It's the total balance at the moment is £7,045, and that's not including your rent arrears. With that current level of debt that is owed to us and the issues you had in regards to your tenancy means that we can't consider you for accommodation at this moment in time. And there is also a standing order payment card for you to set up an arrangement. Okay.
Okay then. Is that it, yeah?
That's it.
Right, thank you very much.
The Housing Association have asked Kane to pay the money back at £3.55 a week.
Thank you for all your help. But that was a load of codswallop. Council's supposed to help people, you know, that are trying to get on with their lives, and all they're doing is pulling them down all the time. So I'm not happy.
They're charging me for, oh my God, to rewire the entire property, including meters.
Why rewire?
because someone's obviously pulled the wiring out, hasn't they? £3,143.76. Then to clear out the property and disposal of items, are you ready? Sit down. £525.36. Renewal of WC pedestal, £88.20 for a toilet. Are you taking... I've seen less shit in a sewerage works. That's disgraceful. £7,348.57. I want to go, I don't want to be here. How am I supposed... I've never seen £7,000. I've never seen £7,000 in my life. They've more chance of me walking through Ashton, which I'm never going to do, tittled naked. And I'd do that before I'll pay that. More chance. Let me put it away. It's knocking me sick. I need to go home.
Today, Kerry and Greg are moving out.
This one's Kerry's. That's why it weighs a lot more.
Their housing association have found them a home in a different neighbourhood.
Even though it's been an upheaval, everybody's happy. Now we know we're getting out of this. My children are really happy about moving because even though we've got a garden here, they've never been able to really use it without incidences from next door.
The latest problem from next door led to the tenant being arrested for breaching her injunction. But at least for Kerry and Greg, it's over.
This is the end of it for us. You know, we can finally get on, it's great. So no, there's no sadness involved about going.
In Earlham, it's moving day for Scott and Joanne too, as their new home is finally ready.
And the start of my new life in the new home. So bye everybody. Today it means happiness for me and Scott as a partnership. It means my kids having a better life.
It looks good so far.
I know. Welcome. We've got miles more space than what we had in the other place, haven't we?
The difference there is massive. I was basically squeezing through the other ones. It's brilliant. I can have a shower, so how long it is since he's been giving me bed baths. And after a bit it gets a bit boring.
Jen has come round to see how the family are settling in.
It's been years since he's had a bath.
I like the fact your shower gel's in there already.
That's the heating off.
Oh, thank you.
It's no problem done beyond what you have to do for... And without getting a bit emotional stuff, do you know what I mean? Brilliant.
Oh, thank you. It's about seeing the difference that it is going to make to Scott, like bathroom and the toilet and things like that. Things we all take for granted. I think that's the best part of it, opposed to receiving flowers. That is nice too.
I just can't wait to get back into a routine again now. I'm just totally made up with it.
There's a chase on in the film next, Newtown Killers.